The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Republican U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy calls for an impeachment inquiry into Democratic President Joe Biden. Many in McCarthy's party were infuriated when the House moved twice to impeach Republican President Donald Trump in 2019 and 2021. The former president was then acquitted both times in the Senate. Biden, who defeated Trump in the 2020 election, is seeking re-election next year. Republicans, who now narrowly control the House, have accused Biden of profiting while he served as vice president from 2009 to 2017 from his son Hunter Biden's foreign business ventures. They have not presented any proof to substantiate this claim. Meanwhile, the White House maintained that there is no basis for an investigation. So far, no U.S. president has ever been removed through impeachment.
I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. Now, I do not make this decision lightly. And regardless of your party or who you voted for, these facts should concern all Americans. The American people deserve to know that the public offices are not for sale, and that the federal government is not being used to cover up the actions of a politically associated family.
Democrat senators slammed the call for Biden's impeachment, from saying the lower house needs to focus on more pressing matters to calling the move absurd. The details in this report by the Associated Press.
I think the impeachment inquiry is absurd. The American people want us to do something that will make their lives better, not go off on these chases and witch hunts. The bottom line is, as we've said, you can only accomplish keeping the government open in a bipartisan way.
I'm going to say it again. I don't think Speaker McCarthy needs any advice from the Senate on how to run the House.
It's about us doing the homework. I don't feel like the Democrats did their homework in the two impeachment proceedings. If they've got facts and evidence, if they want to run through a traditional process, we'll see what the result is. I don't think that it's going to result in a removal on the Senate side, but if there's meaningful information that they think the American people need to know about, I'm okay with it.
If you're going to impeach a president, you should have an inquiry vote. The Democrats didn't do that. But I think the way to make an inquiry legitimate is to have a vote as to whether or not you should have one at all, rather than just the leadership deciding. So I don't know if they have the votes, but I would applaud the process of where they actually have to vote. Thanks.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. The death toll from the 6.8 magnitude quake in Morocco has risen to 2,901. Moroccan state media also reported that the number of injured individuals has more than doubled to 5,530. Rescuers from Spain, Britain, and Qatar continue to assist local search teams, while Italy, Belgium, France, and Germany said their offers for assistance have yet to be approved. Many survivors are now struggling in makeshift shelters in their fourth night in the open since the tremor struck. The situation is most desperate for people in remote areas cut off by landslides that block access roads. This is the deadliest earthquake to hit Morocco since 1960 and the most powerful in over a century. It's a big day for Apple enthusiasts as the company unveils a new generation of iPhones. While there are no new remarkable technological leaps in the new models, Apple makes a notable change in the iPhone 15's charging port. More on this report, courtesy of the Associated Press.
In Europe, they forced the standard of USB-C. So Apple was going to have to do that for at least the European. But the decision, of course, was, well, if you're going to do it for Europe, you do it for the rest of the world, in which most of the world has already shifted over to USB-C. So this was just a natural progression.
Here's another example of 4 HDR.
The spatial camera to allow you to the eventual 3D images, that's a great new feature. I would suspect that if you drill down a bit more, the most important thing was the new GPU. What I found interesting, though, and they didn't elaborate as much, but when you go to each one of the carriers, you're basically going to get it at least at $1,000 off based on your program. And consumers need to really be aware of going to their Verizon's, AT&T's, T-Mobile's, and being able to turn in an old phone and get at least $1,000 up to maybe $1,200 discount, so that the new iPhone is going to be marginal in the context of a cost.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.